While lawyers and city leaders hash out the future of the Jacksonville Landing, businesses that depend on the riverfront property are treading water.
Yeah, they're concerned too. First Coast News reporter Eric Alvarez is live tonight at Friendship Park, and he's going to explain all this. Eric?
Yeah, guys, Friendship Park is one of 5 downtown stops for the St. John's River Taxi, which day in and day out picks up passengers here and then takes them across the water to the Jacksonville Landing. Sarah Zach and her 2 boys are taking their first trip ever on the St. John's River Taxi. Wednesday morning, they're the only ones on board.
I've never seen anybody recently ride it.
The captain says business usually picks up during big events, music festivals, and Jags games. Zach would probably buy more tickets if there were more to do at the Jacksonville Landing.
There's not really that much to do there.
The Landing and the city of Jacksonville are in the middle of a dispute over the future of the site. The city filed a lawsuit claiming the property managers failed to maintain and operate the landing at a high standard. On Monday, Jacksonville Landing Investments, LLC responded with a deposition, calling on Mayor Lenny Curry to testify August 16th. While the 2 sides are looking ahead, customers like Joe Rogers are looking back at the landing's heyday.
It used to be full of people. You'd have all sorts of events.
She says that was back in the 90s. Today,
it's kind of sad when you walk inside, there's not many people walking around. You see a lot of empty storefronts.
On the Jacksonville Landing website, Slayman Enterprises says it wants to develop the property, but can't make any changes without city approval. The website features site plans for 4 different development projects going as far back as 2003. With those plans dead in the water, the St. John's River Taxi keeps plugging along, sometimes busy, often empty. Ahead of her, Zach sees the only landing her boys have ever known and hopes they see something new sooner rather than later.
It's beautiful here, and there's never anybody down here, so I think it would be great.
Now, making things even harder for the St. John's River Taxi, right now it can't take families to the zoo until the docks there can be repaired from the damages caused by Hurricane Irma. Eric Alvarez, First Coast News, on your side.